All right, welcome back to LearnWire. I'm going to show you how I created a simple web app for internal use, not necessarily looking at using this application to make money from it as a software as a service type of tool, but I want to show you how you can use no code or vibe coding tools to create things, web apps that can actually help save you time in your business. So let's get started. Today, I actually sold a piece of software using Stripe and a credit card. And technically speaking, that is not an invoice. With Stripe, they'll let you have a receipt. So they'll let you send a receipt and the customer will get a receipt. But some customers are going to need an invoice, a formal invoice that has all the pertinent information that they can send to their accounting department and so forth. I'm solving an issue that Stripe won't necessarily create the invoice for me automatically because I just sold a product and I just have a receipt. Most times you have a physical or even a digital product sold via Stripe or other payment processing platforms, you're going to get a receipt and the customer is going to get a receipt, but sometimes that's not good enough. They're asking for a full-blown invoice as well. So that's why I decided to create an invoice maker, and I'm going to show you how I did this in this video. So stick around. Right now, you'll see that I'm talking with Base44. That's my tool of choice. There are a lot of different tools out there for vibe coding that you can create apps on, but Base44 is the one that I connect with the most, and that's the one that I've been building a lot of applications. I want to show you a lot more about it. I'm blocking this out because this is an actual customer's invoice where we're using software to build internal softwares and workflows that will help us speed along the way. You'll notice that we could edit the invoice. We could save the invoice as a PDF, and we're going to do one together as well. But I want to delete this one because for the tutorial, it's personal information. I don't want to show that. I've already created the PDF and everything. I already have the customer's information, so I could create another invoice if I wanted to. Another thing, I'm adding a delete function right here. And here's what allow the user to delete a created invoice and give a final warning via pop-up, add the delete function button next to the edit button over here and put that in red. But as I'm creating this, I'm also your mind starts going to different places on what could be even better. We could offer the ability for a user to block out or hide the names, especially because what I tried to do was, to be honest with you, I tried to use my blurring out function, the little Chrome extension, but it wouldn't work. So you can see we just added this delete button over there, which is cool. But there's some different options that we can do. So I'm going to see if we can also add the ability in a settings section to blur out invoices. We'll be right back. I'm going to be making these videos too, showing you in real time how I interact with Base44, but you can apply these strategies to whatever tool you're using. You can see what I said, add a settings area. On the settings page, make a toggle on or off switch, hiding the invoice information on the main page. If toggled on, the invoice history for each invoice will block out the name of the customer and only show the last 4 digits of the invoice number. This will show the product and everything else, but block out the customer name and the first 4 digits of the invoice number. It's editing the entity, editing settings page, editing layout, editing home page. It says that it's added a settings page with a privacy toggle that hides customer names and masks invoice numbers. So that way, when I'm doing a tutorial, I can have this in here. There might be reasons why you would want to do this if I launch this app full-fledged. A customer that maybe purchased this invoice maker app from me, maybe they have other customers at their desk or something like that, and they don't want to actually show anything about the customer. They just want to be able to see the last 4 digits, and they can toggle it on or off. We will see what this ends up looking like. Just behind this little notepad, it does show the customer's information, FYI. So I'm going to go into the settings page real quick. And right here, you can see I'm hiding it again. It says settings. It popped out just like I told it to. It says hide sensitive invoice information privacy mode. So we can click the enable button and then we will see what this ends up looking like. Okay, so we turn this back on and you can see we just turned the hide sensitive invoice information. I'm just starting off the video showing you some of the errors or issues that you deal with, or even just creativity that you'll come up with along the way. And it's just amazing that you're able to impact your application with just the things that you're thinking of, instead of having to hire a developer and wait for days or weeks to get these simple updates or improvements added to your application. So we did click that. I'm going to go and see if this actually worked. Okay, perfect. So now you can see exactly what it looks like inside the application. You can see just the last 4 digits of the receipt or the invoice that was created. You can see that it was LTD Compass. In fact, this is an application that there's a link below. You can go check it out. It's actually a really cool software that I created about a month ago that allows a user to scan AppSumo deals, and it really reverse engineers and gives you a better trust score if the deal's actually good or not. It also allows you to manage all of the lifetime deal softwares that you're purchasing. It shows you how much you're spending on them, and it even checks to make sure that they're up and running. It will alert you if an application is no longer working on a server. It's a really cool way to manage and continue to make sales with the LTD Compass Pro software. Now, what we just did by going to settings and adding this, we could disable this, but this little button here needs to be taken off. We do have this button over here, the settings button. This is where it actually worked. But when we were over here and I clicked, we have a duplication of the settings screen, and we need to remove this section here. You can see that it did work right here. We're going to go create an invoice together, but I want to go and get rid of this right over here. So all you do is just open it up. There'll be a link to go and check out Base 44 below as well. If you want to go and check it out for free, there'll be a link below. Go check it out. What we're doing is we're explaining to it, hey, keep the settings button that's next at the very top menu next to invoices, and then remove the settings button down here midway through the page. So hopefully it's going to be able to do that, and we'll be right back. That didn't work, so I'll have to try something else. This is just what it's like. No one's making videos on exactly what it's like to create these apps, and that doesn't always do what you want it to do. So what I'll end up doing on this one is I'll end up clicking this revert button. It'll revert back to where we were, and then I'll probably take a screenshot of this button here and say, hey, remove this button, and that might work. Another tip that ends up happening, sometimes it'll get stuck right here. You'll see a minute ago right here. It's not really doing anything else. And you can see that it's just sitting here in limbo. Sometimes that does happen. What I to do is come up here, go to Workspace. I'll come back into Workspace. Then I'll open the app up again like this. And then what I'll do is I'll come up here because I didn't get the results that I wanted. And so I'll come up here and I'll actually click this revert button, push OK, and it'll revert us back. And then when you push go, it'll revert us back to where we were. And then I'm going to try the screenshot method. And what that'll do is take a screenshot. So we have the screen back the way that we wanted it. I'll take a screenshot and we'll see if this actually works. I'll take a screenshot right here and capture this, and then I'll upload this real quick. We've uploaded that, and then I'll go right here. Okay, perfect. It worked itself out. We reverted back. We came back and it worked, and it said removed duplicate yellow settings button from the home page, keeping only the settings option in the top navigation menu. You can see that we have the settings page over here. We have the privacy that we added there. That's working. We can go back over here to invoices, and you can see that we have the privacy mode on. Now, let's go and show you how this actually works. So this is how this works. You just come over here, you click on new invoice. Now you can fill it in manually by going like this. It's going to say when it was paid. You can actually select a different date here. It's going to give you an invoice number automatically. This is where you're going to go in and fill out all the information. Only like the names required. So you don't actually need any of this information with the VAT ID and so forth. Address, vendor, and then product information. Now, the part that I designed the software to do that's really cool is we can go to create invoice and we can just paste the information and use AI extract. We just need 2 things to paste. We need the customer information. I just made some dummy information over here. So I'm going to go ahead and grab this. This is the way it would come in, like Stripe, right? So this is real world case study, real world use cases that I'm solving for myself. That's the whole point of this video, to show you how you can use my Base 44 subscription to create applications that I'm going to use myself, which I actually used this morning and sent off the PDF, which is super cool. Now, again, I'll remind you, the reason for this is that a receipt is not an invoice. They're 2 different things. And some companies, their accounting department requires a formal invoice from any product or vendor that they did business with. Stripe is not you can create an invoice in Stripe, but just selling a product only creates a receipt. It does not create the invoice. This will take all the customer information, sales and receipt information, and create an invoice that says paid on it. That's really cool. Now we have receipt information, right? So we just need the receipt information. Let me go and grab that. Now this part will actually be accurate. I'm going to copy this. This is what it would look like copying it from Stripe. Then I'm going to do extract and create invoice, and it's going to fill in all this information for us. And we can go and make changes to it, and take a look at it. And then this is what it's going to do. It's extracted all that information. We've got the invoice receipt here. We've got the date paid right here. We've got the customer. We have the address. I can put in my information right there like that. We have our product, one at $67. And then what we can do is we can save the invoice and then we're done. So super simple invoice creator. And then now we can come over here. We can actually edit this at any time. So it will just pop up and we can edit it. But more importantly, the whole point of the software is that we can come over here and click Save PDF, and it's going to pop open in our screen right here. And it's going to look like this. Here's the invoice, right? We would want to go and just update this. I'm going to go ahead and take a screenshot and capture. We'll open up our tool over here again, and I will actually attach that image real quick. And then I'll tell it what I want it to do. I'll say go, and then it will edit this so it can remove this header. We don't want Invoice Maker, like the software, to be the header in our final output. And then we'll come back after it's done with that. Right after that, we've got our invoices right here. We're going to click on the Save PDF button, and then you're just going to click this header. I've designed this to have a naming convention where it has the name, the date, and then the product that was purchased. So you can come up here, pretty cool. You can just copy that right there. Then you can click on the headers, footers, and remove that. And so that will go away. You can see the invoice. We have our invoice, and we can see that it is paid. I have the invoice number right there. You have my name and an email. I can put my address down here as well, although I work out of my house, so I don't really want to put that there. And then we have a bill too. We have all that information right here as well. We have the date paid. We have the receipt number. One other thing I would need to add to this is the purchase method via card and the last 4 digits of the card. So I would add that and make sure that's there. And then that's it. We have the product, a very simple invoice right there. And then you can go to PDF right there and push save. Then you will paste that naming convention. And then what we can do is come up here and we can open up the final PDF. This is what you can send to your customer when they ask, can I get an invoice for the product that I purchased? This is something they can send to their accounting team. Believe it or not, this is actually a challenge and an issue because there's going to be a lot of ways that you sell products online that actually don't create an invoice. So this is solving a need in my business. And technically, this probably could solve a need for a lot of other people's businesses. I don't plan on selling this software or creating this as a software as a service or anything like that. But this is a way that you can use, for example, Base44, Lovable, Bolt, Cursor, any of the apps you create. Now, yes, you can go into ChatGPT or Claude, paste this information and say, create a PDF for me. You will run into some issues. A lot of times it displays only HTML. You won't be able to actually download because you don't have a back-end function to create that PDF and actually download it from those large language model platforms. You can take your try at that as well. But at the end of the day, you're not creating an application that can potentially solve this for you very quickly. You would start a new chat. Maybe you could create a GPT that could do this. But at the end of the day, just showing you what's possible, a software like Base44 on how you can actually solve some of your internal issues as well. So then we have our PDF created that we can go and send to our customers. So super, super cool stuff. Thanks for joining me. There is a link below if you want to go check out Base44. If you want to check out my software, LTD Compass, it's right here where we grade all of the softwares, AppSumo, and then one of the customer's favorite part is actually the Vault right here. And you can go into Vault and start seeing how you manage all the applications you purchased. It can see all the stats of what tier level you bought, what amount you paid, and you can even go and check out the stats and it'll tell you how many apps you're purchasing per month and the different categories and so forth. We have a bulk upload feature where you can upload your spreadsheet that AppSumo allows you to download and fill out a couple of different pieces of information and then upload that file here and we'll bring all those in as well. There will be a link to this. Right now, it's only $67 one time. At a certain point, we are going to make this a monthly deal, but right now you can get it for $67 one time. It's called LTD Compass. Thanks for joining me.